Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to see you again for this Yin Master Flow class. Already, my God, end of November. It has been almost a year together, and I don't know, it's crazy how fast it can be, and at the same time, how much did happen this year. So it's always this duality, I would say, with time that we feel like, oh my God, it's going so fast. We didn't have time to do all of it. But if we take the time to pause and to have a look of everything that happened, all the lessons we get for our own growth, it's really showing us that a lot of things have happened. We did learn a lot about maybe who we are, maybe about what we like, about what is important for us. Maybe our value system has been really clear this year, where maybe before it was just more like, oh yeah, I'm doing what I'm doing, but let's see, it's fine. And then this year, everything is kind of more visible. Something is more clear. So today I want to share more about when at the moment in life we compromise. And sometimes we do something just to please someone else because we care about the other person. And I'm talking here about business, but you can think about the same parallel in your personal life. Is, oh, okay, no worry, I'm going to do it. And then something inside of you is kind of shrink, it's kind of turn off. This is what I call a compromise. It's like if I really listen to to myself, if I really go deep in, I don't want to do things like this. Maybe not this way. And then by compromising ourselves, maybe our value, maybe our boundaries, maybe who we are, like at the moment we do it, maybe we feel it in the body if we really take the time to pause and listen to our body. But what I notice lately is a few months later, you can pay consequences of that. And I'm going to explain a little bit a story to give you more context. Back in August, I was working for a client, and during a meeting, I saw another person that was kind of a high executive in the business. We were a little bit close, so we became not fully friends, but we know each other, and we had a nice interaction. We're more or less the same age and all of those things. And during that meeting, I could feel already the weeks before she was kind of overwhelmed by her workload. And what happened during this meeting is they decided to reorganize the chart of who is responsible for who in the organization. And somehow uh, they split the whole organization in two. And instead her to have the whole responsibility of the organization and the team, half of it end up on my shoulder. And at the time, they asked me, but at the same time, they didn't really ask me. But at the time, I say, yeah, it's okay. We will figure out. I didn't really overthink it. And a part of me wanted to save her, to make a way to have her feeling less overwhelmed because I knew for her it was like already too much. So this was back in August, like 4 months ago. And 2 months later, beginning of October, I could see myself being super overwhelmed. Not super for a long time because it's something that I really monitor, but really I felt like, oh my God, I am doing meetings that are not aligned with who I am. I am part of things that I shouldn't be part of, especially as a consultant, as a, as an external resource for that company. My role was super mega clear. But then by me compromising like a little bit, maybe not saying fully what I was thinking at that time, or not trying to find another solution for them to solve the root cause of the problem, I just took half of the problem on my shoulder, and then kind of a spiral happened, spiral down. And as I monitor a lot, my time and energy and what's happening for me in my life, when I do master flow, when, I review my month, my year, my quarters, it allowed me to really spot this on very quickly and not to lead to burnout, not to lead to even more overwhelm to myself. So I gain clarity on, okay, this situation I am facing, what is bothering me? In short term, I was doing things that I'm like, I don't like this, and then I'm not bringing value to my client by doing this. And this really hurt me at the time because I was like, if I'm not bringing value to my client, I don't feel good. I don't feel like they should pay me, and I don't feel this is fair, and all those things. It's when you're really an external consultant, a coach, and all those things, you are bringing value to your clients. You are not an employee that just show up and deliver and have a lot of responsibility. The dynamic is really different, and it's why I'm explaining this to you today. I felt like, oh my God, like why I'm doing that. So I really have to dig in myself. What was happening? What caused this? What was the event that actually started that inner fire and deception? Actually, I was like, I don't feel good about that. And I feel like I'm losing my time. And this is for me something very valuable that if I'm losing my time, I don't feel good. So by digging in, by reflecting about what's happening internally in my emotions, in my body, I was feeling so tired. I was feeling exhausted. I was always on the computer. And I tried to balance with, going to the beach and having a massage, but somehow it didn't balance. I needed to find a solution. By taking the time to have really this analytical approach, to look at fact and not just to listen to my emotions, because at one stage I was like, I'm just going to stop that contract and and run away. But this was not obviously a very smart decision to do on the spot. It's where our emotion sometimes is triggering us to do things that actually doesn't make sense. So when we are facing the situation, the best thing to do is first to step out, to listen, to embrace what are those emotions going through us, what is happening to us. And then more you step out, you can start saying, what are the elements that have created this situation? When did I compromise on myself? And for me, I really remember that particular meeting. I think it was a Tuesday. I was in the office and I could see myself compromising. I felt it. I didn't listen to it, but somehow I felt like my body is like, ooh, something is not right. But Lucy 4 months ago was not strong enough to step out first to say, hey, I got your issue. I'm going to think about it and I'm going to come back. Because I was willing and I was caring about that person. And I know today that it didn't serve either her or the business. So 2 months later, I spoke to the founder. I bring on the table what was happening from my side of my role and my mission for them. And I told him, let's readjust. I've been into things that is not aligned and it's not where I can bring value. And this is my plan. This is how I'm going to work with you, and is how I'm going to focus on those particular tasks to actually deliver what you asked me to deliver. So I really re-embrace the heart of being an expert, the heart of being able to step back, to see the bigger picture of the business, and to see me as an external person outside of any emotion and willingness to save the world, to see what is the need right now for the business. What did I sign for before? And what need to be readjusted? And in a fraction of a second, everything shifted. The owner did understand what I was meaning. He said, yes, those are the priorities. I want you to focus on that. I want you to do your way. Thank you. I was not expecting any approval or permission from him, but just by bringing the conversation, because I have processed what was happening for me at that moment, being able to see more clarity, what was the situation and what are the solutions to adjust that, it has been received very well from my client. So this is super important. As all today, we are experts in our domain. Whatever, you are doing coaching, you are doing consulting, or creating some specific event, you are an expert in what you do. And you really need to lean in that expertise. And I know if it's a beginning of the business, it's gonna, go step by step. I have been there 10 years ago. I was like, yeah, I know what I'm talking about, but I didn't feel the expertise yet. But I took the one step of the problem and I was like, I can deliver that. I knew I could deliver that. So, as an expert, you need to lean into the value and the strength of what you know you can deliver, and on how you deliver it, it's on you. You need to face that you are the only one knowing how you can bring your clients from A to B on the path to allow them to have transformation, long-lasting transformation, and to be solving the problem that they have. And like me, maybe sometimes you will feel like, oh, maybe you are losing your groundness and you are getting absorbed, because what's happening is always a client will have a way to solve that problem, which is not your expertise, the way you want to do it, but they have a vision of another perspective on the problem, and they have needs that when you run a business that are really, it has to be now. And sometimes, you get caught up with the speed of life in the business life where no, no, no. Your role as an external, as an expert is to step out of that situation, to acknowledge the fact and come back with a plan. Really lean into what is the solution I am bringing, because you are external. Your emotions always going to be triggered in business because we are humans being, and it's why make us different than a robots or AI up until now. But we need to differentiate what is business and what is emotional life. So when we do business, we focus on getting clarity about the fact of how I can see the situation with more clarity. I think clarity is the word. And then from that, we are learning. I'm learning myself. I'm learning who I am. I'm learning to apply my value system. I'm learning to apply my own boundaries. Because more that we lean into who we are and embracing that, more the world's gonna work well, and more we will be able to work together to really create a shift, to really bring for us a value that will solve problem. So this is what I wanted to share today is from a moment of a small little compromise can really cost you a lot in terms of your energy, in terms of your vitality, in terms of your gift, the value that you can bring to your client. And then from that moment that you see that compromise happening or that have happened, there are solutions to be able to adjust. It's not black and white. You don't have just to live. It's an easy solution. And I know it's something I could have done very easily. Try to stay more than to live at the moment. But it's really about what do I need to adjust in my own behaviors, in what I am doing, and also on the way that I'm bringing solution to that. So I shifted the way I think it's an energetic shift. It's just I'm shifting the way that I'm leading the delivery of my work for that client. And I just did maybe a 10% shift. But everything now has been more than a month. Everything since that has been totally different. I found the joy again in what I do. I'm like, yes, we are bringing the a new organization, a new way of leadership inside that company, and everything is kind of shifting better because I lean into who I am, and I'm also getting confidence about doing my own method to solve the problem that I've been called to solve. And I'm not following a path that is, Lucy, you should do like this. No. Lucy, you have your own method and you need to apply them. So today is to lean about the expert that you are, to ask yourself, what are the moments, what are the time you may have slightly compromised yourself? Maybe accepting a meeting that was not at a good time for you, but you felt like, oh, it's okay, I'm going to do it because it's important. Or maybe you accepted some term and condition from another business partner that you knew was not fully aligned with what you wanted, but you accepted to maybe not have a conversation around the money, maybe not have a confronting situation, to just say, yeah, okay, I don't agree internally, but I'm going to say yes to. So the idea today is really to take a moment to step out and to maybe see when do you compromise on yourself at work, in your business, and then more extended to that in all your relationship. Because as I mentioned, nothing good actually came from the fact that I compromised myself 4 months ago. I learned for sure I can always find a gift into that situation, and I can teach you this today. But honestly speaking, if I was going back in time, I would say, hey, okay, I understand where you are at. Give me a week, give me a few days to see what I can do. Instead of accepting something, a charge, a mental charge on top of what I was doing. So this was today. Take a moment now, the next 5 minutes, to ask yourself, to really connect to your inner self, and ask yourself, when did I compromise? When did I compromise maybe on my value, on what does matter to me? And I would encourage you to really focus on the interaction with people, because usually we compromise uh, when we are in situation with people. to see, or maybe I say yes because I was scared to have this conversation, or because I didn't want to speak about money or speak about, the consequences.